What's up, everybody? Welcome back to our channel. We are super excited that you're here with us. And of course, we have another exciting video for you this week. But first, here's our logo. I'm Josh.
I'm Lindsay.
And we are a couple that started making TikTok videos until everybody started saying, hey, why don't you make a YouTube channel? So here we are.
Make sure you like this video, subscribe to our channel, and click the bell so you can stay updated with our future videos.
Yep.
Also, go follow our Instagram and TikTok account so you can be updated with more behind the scenes of our life.
Yeah. So today's going to be a fun one. It's going to be a helpful video for a lot of people. Hopefully. I think it will, though. Me too.
For all you couples out there, we're going to help you guys with conflict resolution in relationships. Mm-hmm. This could be for really friendships too, I would say.
Yeah, it really can be. And before we even get into this, let me just give a disclaimer. We are not experts at this. No. And a lot of what we're going to be saying is going to be a lot of instances of the pot calling the kettle black, because even we mess up with certain things and even we struggle with these things. But this is going to be great accountability for us while we're also helping you guys with better communication, because everybody needs to practice better communication.
When there is a conflict in your relationship, approach it with the right tone. This is super important because this will really set the tone for the rest of the conversation.
Yeah, so I'm just going to speak from personal experience. If I have a bad tone, she's just going to shut down because she's not going to want to engage in the conversation anymore. So, and that's something that I hold myself accountable to, and she definitely holds me accountable to it. And that's something that you always have to think about before you engage in any conflict with your significant other or your friend or your coworker. If you start off in a positive way, you're going to set the stage for the rest of the conversation.
Exactly. Sometimes I do the exact same things. It's easy to get caught up in the moment when you're frustrated and just completely have the worst tone. I don't even know how to explain it. It's just you get really frustrated and then it just comes out the wrong way. And then you realize afterwards immediately, oh, dang it. I did not say that the right way. Because you see their facial expression like get in a defensive mode, or maybe their feelings got hurt, and you know that's not good either. Definitely doesn't feel good, and then you're like, dang it, I messed up. Usually the conversation doesn't go too well after that. It can get back on track eventually, but it's just kind of like a detour into the wrong direction.
The next thing that you want to do is basically pinpoint what the real issue at the root of everything is. Because once you figure out the issue, then you're going to be able to work through it together. And if you just start throwing the blame at each other and dancing around questions, nothing is going to get worked out. I know for us, like the main thing that we always ask each other is, okay, tell me what you are thinking. What is the main issue? And if either one of us dances around the question, we'll push each other a little bit and nudge each other and be like, hey, I know that you're holding something back. What is it? Because we know good and well that once we say what's on our mind, it's going to shorten the whole process and it's going to make it a lot easier. As opposed to if we keep it bottled up, it's just going to make for a very long and frustrating night.
Yep. Sometimes it's hard to get yourself to actually say what's wrong because, especially for me, the main reason why I have a hard time with this at times is because I don't want conflict. And I get in my head, okay, well, if I don't say anything, then we won't talk about it and there will be no conflict. But honestly, not talking about it really will impose more conflict.
It makes it worse.
It really does. So I've learned over the past almost 3 years that we've been dating, just say what's on your mind. I'm still not perfect at it, but I definitely have gotten better with it. And it's something to always be working on. So if that's you, just say what's on your mind, because you need to communicate your feelings with your significant other. And this leads into the next thing is if you can't really find a solution to the problem, which most of the time you can, but if you guys just really don't agree with each other, Just agree to disagree.
Yeah.
And just move on. Because, especially if it's not something that's super important.
Right. For example, one thing that Lindsay and I have different opinions on is I'm a little bit more outspoken than she is in public. So there's times where we might be in a store and I'll pick up something and I look at the price and I'll say out loud, "It costs this much money? Gosh, what a ripoff." And she looks at me and she's like, "What are you doing? Why are you saying that? You're going to embarrass me." And I'm just like... And we just agree to disagree. So there's times where I'll say something and she just looks at me and just gives me kind of like that look like, "Really?" And I just look at her, I'm like, "Yeah, really?" And then we're just like, okay. And then we just move on with our day.
Because it's literally not a big deal.
It's not.
It doesn't matter.
The next thing that you always need to remember to do is compromise in any sort of a conflict. This is something that we try and work on all the time because it's just a huge part of any sort of conflict. For example, I get up around in between 5 and 5:15 every morning. So that requires me to go to bed at a certain time to make sure that I'm well rested. And Lindsay is much more of a night owl than I am, so she'll go to bed in between 12:30 and 1 o'clock most nights. Whereas for me, if I'm going to be getting up at 5, it's not a good idea for me to go to bed at that time. But she wants to spend as much time with me as possible, so we compromised to find a time that works for the both of us to where she'll leave at 10:45. That way I can get to bed at 11, I get 6 hours of sleep, which is good for me, and she gets to spend as much time with me as possible. And it's flexible as well. There's some nights where she stays later, some nights she leaves right on time. But it's a compromise that we both work together on because we both value each other's opinions, we value each other's needs, and we want to respect one another because that's how a relationship works.
Compromise is super important in a relationship, and for us, that's one example of our compromise. You know, for him, 6 hours of sleep is good. So he's like, "I want to spend time with you too, so 10:45 is good for me." And for me, you know, I stay up a little later, so that gives me an extra hour to do homework maybe that I wanted to get done, or, you know, read my Bible, or, I don't know, like watch TikTok.
The next thing that you need to do when you're in the middle of conflict with somebody is think to yourself, wait a second, the Josh and Lindsay YouTube channel put out a video on how to deal with conflict. So then you tell your significant other, your friend, or your coworker, whoever you're in the middle of conflict with, "Hey, let's go to this YouTube channel and watch this video, and then let's hit the like button, hit subscribe, and hit the little bell notification. That way we can see all their other cool videos that they're putting out."
And the last thing that we will recommend to do is to take a step back in the middle of a conflict with someone and think about whether it's really worth it to be getting in an argument or disagreement with them. If it's about what you're wearing that day, that's a dumb argument to have. Please, just take a second and think about whether it's really worth getting an argument about. If
Most of the time it's not.
Yeah. If it's not, just laugh about it and be like, "You know what? Let's just have a good day together." Say you love each other and move on. Because honestly, arguments like that are going to get you nowhere, and it's honestly going to damage your relationship. And the sooner that you realize that, the sooner your relationship will improve.
And there you have it. That is our personal advice on how to deal with conflict with your significant other or your friend or family members or whoever it is that you have a conflict with. That's our advice on how to deal with it.
Again, we are not professionals by any means. We just want to suggest things to you guys to help you feel like you aren't the only one. Because social media is very misleading. You know, you see all this stuff about couples, friendships, it just looks like their relationship is perfect. And it's, most of the time, obviously it's not. I mean, it's not perfect by any means. You can have a great relationship, but not be perfect. You can still have arguments with each other. You know, I'm sure it comes across on our TikTok and our YouTube that we have everything together, but we don't. We don't. Nobody does.
Right.
Everybody gets into disagreements, and nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. I gotta work it. Sorry.
And that wraps it up for this week's video. So before you go, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the little bell notification so you can know everything that we're doing on our YouTube at any time that you want. Also, follow our other social medias, specifically our TikTok and our Instagram, if you want to see a more in-depth picture of what our lives look like.
We love you guys so much and have an awesome weekend.
Bye.
Bye.